The Galactic Council Hall was full. Aliens from every corner of the galaxy had gathered. Some had wings, others had scales. A few looked like walking plants, and some had glowing eyes. They were the leaders of powerful civilizations, wise, rich, and old. In the center of the hall, a large screen showed a picture of Earth. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds. It looked beautiful. But the aliens didn't care about beauty. One tall, red-skinned alien stood and laughed loudly. "Earth? You brought us here to talk about that death rock?" Others laughed too. A snake-like creature hissed, "Their people are weak. One of their own creatures, what do they call it? A grizzly bear, can kill them in seconds." The council burst into laughter. They live among volcanoes, storms, and deadly animals. Their planet is chaos, and they call themselves intelligent. The laughter echoed through the hall like thunder, but not everyone was laughing. In the back, a dark-armored figure sat silently. His name was Commander Varnak, from the planet Zorkal. He didn't smile. He watched. He listened. A jellyfish-like alien floated forward. "This meeting is simple," it said. "We must remove Earth from our expansion plans. It is too wild. The humans are primitive, not worth our attention." Another alien nodded. "They are too dangerous to live near, and too weak to join us." "Then destroy them," said a voice from the shadows. The hall went quiet. Everyone turned to see who had spoken. It was Varnak. He stood slowly, eyes cold. "You mock them. You fear them. But none of you truly understand them." The council leader, a bird-like alien with golden feathers, tilted his head. "Then enlighten us, Commander Varnak. What is there to understand?" Varnak pressed a button. The screen changed. It showed video clips, footage from Earth, a man lifting a burning car to save a child, a woman climbing a frozen mountain alone, firefighters walking into a collapsing building, soldiers fighting even when wounded, animals, volcanoes, tornadoes, and humans surviving them all. The council grew silent. "Earth is not weak," Varnak said. "It is a death world, and humans, they are survivors." "So?" the snake-like alien asked. "They are still wild, still untrained, still animals." Varnak smiled slightly. "Then let's test them." Murmurs spread across the room. "You mean capture one? That breaks 100 galactic laws. What if it escapes?" But curiosity was growing in the room. Varnak raised his hand. "We don't need to hurt them. Just observe them. Drop a few humans into a controlled test zone. Watch what they do. Let the galaxy see if they are really as weak as you think." The council leader looked around the room. Some nodded. Some still looked unsure. Finally, he spoke. "Very well. One test. Quiet. Secret. If they die quickly, Earth will be labeled unfit. If they survive, we will talk again." Varnak nodded and walked out. Weeks later, secret alien testing facility in a dark control room, alien scientists prepared the experiment. The zone was ready, a hostile planet with dangerous creatures, rough terrain, and no way out. One by one, humans were teleported in, taken randomly from Earth. They appeared confused, scared. Most shouted, some cried, a few tried to run. The aliens watched through cameras. "See?" one laughed. "They are already panicking." But then, the cameras focused on one human. He didn't scream, he didn't cry. He just looked around. He was tall, muscular, rough beard, scar on his face. His name was Reed Walker. He bent down, picked up a stone, and tested its weight. Then he broke a branch, sharpened it with the stone, and made a spear. The alien scientist leaned closer. "What is he doing?" Reed checked the wind. He touched the soil. He tasted a leaf, then spat it out. He wasn't lost. He was scouting. He moved quietly, like a hunter. He hid his tracks. He set traps using vines and rocks. "This one is Different, one alien whispered. Another shouted, "Wait! A razor beast is approaching him." A massive creature with sharp teeth and 6 legs charged from the forest, roaring. Reed didn't run. He stood still, waited, then rolled to the side. The trap he set triggered. The beast tripped. In one smooth motion, Reed jumped and drove the spear into its throat. The room went silent. He just killed it. Varnak watched from the shadows. "Let the galaxy laugh," he said, "but this is how humans fight. This is how a Deathworld trains its children." He looked at the screen again. Reed was cutting meat from the beast. He built a fire. Smoke rose into the alien sky. The alien testing planet had no name. It was a secret world, far from any sun, full of dangers and watched by hidden cameras. The Galactic Council used it only for special tests. This time the test subject was not an alien species. It was humans. 12 humans had been taken from Earth. They were dropped randomly across the planet's deadly surface. No weapons, no supplies, no idea where they were. Some cried, some ran, others simply sat in fear. But Reed Walker did not panic. The former soldier moved with purpose. He had survived jungles, deserts, and war zones. Now he walked through an alien forest like he belonged there. His muscles were lean. His eyes were sharp. Every sound, every scent, every shadow. He noticed it. High above, in the hidden control room, alien scientists watched carefully. Subject number 7 is not behaving like the others. He already built a weapon. Now he's setting up a shelter? Lead scientist, a silver-skinned alien named Dr. Zell, zoomed in on Reed's camp. Reed had used large leaves and strong branches to build a basic hut. He had already created a water filter using stones and sand. A fire crackled near him. The meat of the razor beast roasted slowly on a spit. He made a fire from scratch, one alien said in disbelief. Is that intelligence? Or just luck? Dr. Zell didn't answer. His eyes stayed on the screen, elsewhere on the planet. A young woman named Maria screamed as a flying insect bit her arm. She ran through thick vines, bleeding, coughing, lost. Another man named Jason tried to fight a long snake-like creature. He threw rocks, but the creature was too fast. Jason disappeared under the leaves. The alien scientists marked him as deceased. That's the 3rd human to die, said one technician. Only 9 left. The camera returned to Reed. He had spotted something. A girl, about 20 years old, was limping through the forest. She was alone, shaking, scared. Reed moved silently toward her like a shadow in the trees. She fell. Before she could scream, a hand touched her shoulder. She turned, ready to hit, but stopped. Reed was there, calm, still. His eyes said, "You're safe now." "Name?" he asked simply. "Tina," she stammered. Where are we?" "Not Earth, that's all I know," he said. "But stay quiet. Something's watching us." He helped her up. She leaned on him as they moved. They disappeared into the forest. Control room. Alien observation. He's helping the others. Strange. They are not even related. Dr. Zell nodded slowly. Humans form bonds quickly. It's not just survival. It's loyalty. Another technician frowned. He wastes time protecting the weak. He should let them die. Dr. Zell didn't respond. His mind was racing. Something about this human was different. Back in the forest, night came fast. The forest turned black. Strange lights moved in the sky. Alien creatures howled from the hills. Tina sat near the fire, holding her knees. "You really think we'll make it?" she asked. Reed checked his traps. One had caught a small animal with long legs and sharp teeth. "If we think we won't, we won't," he said simply. He skinned the animal with a sharp stone. His hands were steady. No fear, just focus. "Who taught you all this?" she asked. "The world," Reed replied. "You either learn or you die." Suddenly, there was movement in the trees. Tina stood. What was that? Reed raised his hand. Silence. Another sound. Closer now. Heavy breathing. Twigs snapping. He grabbed his spear. A creature stepped out of the darkness. Huge. 4 eyes. Claws like swords. Its mouth opened wide, revealing layers of teeth. Tina gasped. The beast roared and charged. Reed didn't run. He waited. Calm. Focused. At the last second, he jumped to the side and shouted, "Now!" The creature's foot hit a trap. A net of vines pulled tight. It stumbled. Reed leaped and stabbed the spear into its neck. The beast thrashed, but Reed held on. Blood sprayed across the trees. He stabbed again. Deeper this time. The creature fell with a crash. Tina was frozen. How did you know it would come?" she whispered. Reed stood over the dead beast, breathing hard. "Because I would have come too. If I was hungry." Control room. The room was silent. Even the aliens who once laughed now stared at the screen. He predicted the attack. He used the girl as bait. Smart. He fought like a warrior. Dr. Zell leaned back, deep in thought. This human, Reed, he's not just surviving. He looked at the others. He's adapting. The technician asked, "Should we end the test?" Dr. Zell shook his head. "No, we increase it. Send something stronger." "Stronger than a razor maw?" "Send the Grizzly." Gasps filled the room. "But that's from his planet." "Exactly," Dr. Zell said. "Let's see how the Deathworlder handles a monster from his own world." The forest was silent now. Too silent. Reed Walker sat near the fire, sharpening his spear. Tina watched him carefully. His arms were covered in cuts and dirt, but his eyes were calm. Focused. Waiting. "Something's wrong," he muttered. Tina frowned. "What do you mean?" Reed looked up at the black sky. No birds, no bugs, no sounds. Nature only gets quiet when something big is coming. Up in the alien control room, Dr. Zell stood in front of the screen, staring at the new test. Subject. A massive creature stood behind a thick cage. It was a grizzly bear, taken from Earth. But this was no normal bear. The council had upgraded it. Bigger, stronger, even more aggressive. They called it Project Grizzly X. "Release it into Zone 7, Dr. Zell ordered. Let's see what happens." "When man meets monster," the alien guard hesitated. "That's his planet's predator." "Exactly." Zell smiled coldly. Back on the surface, the ground shook. Tina grabbed Reed's arm. "What is that? An earthquake?" Reed stood quickly, eyes scanning the dark forest. The trees moved, something large pushed through them, then it stepped into view. A giant bear. Taller than any building. Its fur was matted with armor plates. Eyes glowed red. Its mouth dripped with saliva. Tina screamed. Reed didn't move. "Stay behind me," he said softly. The bear roared, a sound so loud it shook the leaves from the trees. "Why is it here?" Tina asked, panicked. "This is your world's animal." Reed narrowed his eyes. "It was brought here." The bear charged. Reed ran straight at it. "Are you crazy?" Tina shouted. But Reed wasn't crazy. He had a plan. He slid under the bear's legs, slashing at its knees with a sharpened bone blade. The bear howled in pain, spinning around. Reed rolled, picked up his spear, and ran for a tree. He climbed fast. The bear swiped, missed, and hit the tree trunk instead, breaking it in half. Reed jumped to the next tree. He shouted to Tina, "Run!" She sprinted into the forest. The bear followed her. Reed grabbed a rope made from vines and jumped, swinging down. He landed on the bear's back, stabbing deep into its shoulder. The beast roared and thrashed, trying to throw him off. In the control room, aliens watched in shock. "He's riding it!" "No way! This is not survival, this is war!" "Doctor," Zell leaned forward. "Don't celebrate yet. That bear was made to kill." Back in the forest, Reed held on tight. The bear slammed into trees, rolled in the dirt, and bashed itself against rocks. But Reed didn't let go. With one last effort, he pulled the blade from his belt, a piece of alien tech he stole from the dead robot guard. He jammed it into the back of the bear's neck. Electric sparks flew. The bear stumbled, then collapsed. Tina returned slowly, eyes wide. "You killed it." Reed climbed off, covered in blood. "No, it killed itself. I just helped." She shook her head. "That thing, it was a monster." Reed stared at the sky. "They sent it to scare me, to test me." "Who?" "Whoever's watching." Later that night, Reed and Tina found another survivor, a young man named Connor. He had broken his arm but was alive. They patched him up using vines and crushed leaves. "We need to find more people," Reed said. "If they sent one bear, they'll send more." Tina nodded. "You think they're trying to kill us?" Reed looked serious. "No. Worse. They want to study us." Connor asked, "Then what do we do?" Reed's eyes burned with fire. "We stop being prey. We become hunters." Control room. Later, Dr. Zell watched as Reed and his small group moved together, setting more traps, collecting weapons, building shelter. "He's organizing the others." One guard asked, "Should we end the test now?" Zell shook his head. "No. Let's increase the pressure." He turned to his assistant. "Prepare the drones." Smoke rose from a small fire in the middle of the forest. Around it, 3 humans sat: Reed, Tina, and Connor. Their faces were tired, dirty, but their eyes showed something new now. Focus. Reed tore a strip of meat and handed it to Connor, whose arm was still in a vine sling. "Eat. You'll need your strength," Reed said. Tina sharpened sticks into spears. "Reed, that thing yesterday, it wasn't natural." "No, it wasn't," he replied. "That grizzly wasn't just from Earth. It was changed. Bigger. Smarter." Connor's voice shook. "Who would do that?" Reed looked up at the strange stars above. "Someone out there is watching us, studying us." He stood and pointed to the tree line. "They're learning how humans survive. But now, it's time we learn about them." High above, in the alien control room, Dr. Zell stood near the massive screen, arms crossed behind his back. His expression was unreadable. The other alien scientists spoke in hushed tones. "He's building a team. They are not hiding anymore. They're preparing for war." Zell nodded. "Then let's give them a reason to fight." He tapped a button on the console. Below the clouds, 10 flying hunter drones launched from a hidden base on the far side of the test planet. Sleek, black, armed with energy weapons, they flew silently like ghosts. "Let's see how long the humans last now." Back in the jungle, human Camp Reed and his small group explored deeper into the forest. They found strange metal pieces buried in the dirt. Alien tech, long forgotten. "Looks like this place has been used for tests before," Reed said. "How many species have they hunted here?" Tina whispered. They came across the broken body of a reptilian creature, clearly not from Earth. Its bones were cracked, its claws burnt, its skull had a laser hole. Connor leaned in. "What did this?" Suddenly a sound buzzed through the air. Not natural. Not animal. Reed's eyes widened. "Down, now!" They dove under thick vines as 2 drones zipped overhead. Sleek, deadly, watching. One stopped, turned, scanned. Say. Red eye glowed brighter. A beam of light blasted from under it, striking the tree above Tina. It exploded in flames. "They're hunting us," she screamed. Reed threw a rock, hard, hitting the drone's eye. The machine blinked, confused, then turned to fire again. But Reed was already moving. He jumped from a boulder, grabbed a hanging vine, and swung high, landing on top of the drone. He ripped off the top panel, pulled wires, and stabbed it with his blade. The drone fell, crashing into the ground. The second drone fired, barely missing him. Tina threw a sharpened stick. It bounced off the metal. Connor shouted, "Behind the rocks!" They all ran, ducking behind a T, sharp cliffside as the second drone circled above. Reed breathed hard, looking at the destroyed drone. It's a scout. They're testing our defenses. He ripped parts from its body, wires, power cells, a small energy crystal. If they want to study us, he said coldly, then they're about to see what we do with scraps. 2 hours later, human makeshift lab Reed used the alien crystal to power a small handheld device, something like a mini EMP. With pieces of vine, wood, and drone tech, he crafted a trap. Tina looked amazed. You built that in 2 hours? You can't outmuscle everything, Reed said. Sometimes you have to outsmart them. Connor grinned. So, we're fighting machines with machines? Reed smiled slightly. No. We're using their own toys against them. Meanwhile, in the control room, Dr. Zell's eyes narrowed. He destroyed a drone, with no advanced tools, no help, just instinct. A technician shook his head. That's impossible. They shouldn't be able to understand our technology. That's where you're wrong, Zell replied. Humans don't need full understanding. They just need pressure. They learn fast. Too fast. The screen zoomed in. More drones flew over the jungle. Zell whispered, now we'll see if he's a survivor and/or a soldier. Later that night, Jungle Firelight Reed set the final trap. A large hole, filled with sharpened sticks, covered with leaves and powered by an EMP pulse crystal. Tina sat next to him. Do you really think we can win? She asked. Reed didn't answer right away. He looked at the stars. They think we're weak because we bleed, because we cry, because we feel. He turned to her. But they forgot something. What? Reed's voice was low and cold. Humans don't break, we adapt, we fight back. Just then a drone flew into the trap zone. The ground exploded with force. The EMP went off. The drone crashed, sparks flying. Reed stood over it, breathing hard. And now we're learning them. The jungle burned in small patches now. Fires from fallen drones, broken reapers, and human-made traps. But Reed had no time to watch the flames. He stood at the center of his growing camp, now filled with 20 survivors. All armed, all ready. In front of him lay a crude map made from dirt, sticks, and alien metal. We can't fight reapers in a straight line, Reed said, pointing to the enemy zone. So we won't. We hit them fast. Disappear faster. Tina nodded. Hit and run? No, Reed replied. Hit and confuse. Hit and lie. Hit and make them fear. Lexi stepped forward. What's the name of the plan? Reed smirked. Operation Chaos. Alien Control Room, Doctor. Zell stared at a red screen flashing disturbance reports. Reapers were reporting false signals, lost targets, damaged sensors. One alien technician looked confused. The humans are splitting into teams. Some are faking camps. Others are setting noise traps. They're not just hiding, they're misleading us. Zell leaned closer to the screen. He's using deception. Classic guerrilla warfare. Primitive, but smart, the general growled. Should we send all remaining Reapers? Zell raised a hand. No, let them play. I want to see how far this Deathworlder will go. Jungle. Phase 1. The Sound. Warlexi and 3 others moved quickly through the trees. They carried small speakers made from broken drone parts. They placed one near a dead zone. It played human voices, laughing, yelling, walking. Within minutes, 2 Reapers arrived, chasing ghost sounds. Lexi triggered a trap. Boom! A rock slide crushed one Reaper's leg. Lexi whispered, "Run." And they vanished. Phase 2. Fire and Fear. Connor and Tina lit oil made from crushed alien fruits. The fire burned green and thick, unnatural. They smeared it across trees and rocks in a narrow path. As a Reaper followed the trail, fire ignited behind it. Smoke blocked its sensors. Then, an EMP mine exploded beneath it. It staggered, confused. Tina laughed. Even machines can be scared in the dark. Phase 3. The decoy Reed had built something special. A fake human body made of metal, cloth, and heat coils meant to trick Reapers into attacking. He placed it in an open field. A Reaper saw the body and charged. But when it got close, spikes burst from the ground and impaled its legs. Reed stepped out of the shadows. "You're not the only one who learns." He tossed a hacked power cell into its chest. It exploded. Another Reaper down. Back at camp, morale was rising. The humans were laughing again. Eating better. Healing. James sat beside Reed. "You really think we can win this?" Reed looked at the sky. "Not yet. But we can make them regret ever choosing us." He turned to the group. "This is no longer survival. This is rebellion. This is a message to anyone watching. Humans don't break. We fight smarter, harder, and crazier." Alien control room. The screens now flickered with red alerts. Reaper offline. Reaper sensors jammed. False targets detected. Reaper unit. Missing. Dr. Zell said nothing. He walked to a private chamber. Inside was a silver cube, a communication device. He pressed his finger against it. "Begin phase Omega." The cube glowed. Far above the test planet, something massive moved in orbit. Above the jungle planet, a black ship the size of a city lit up, long and silent with one purpose: wipe out the entire test zone. Back in the jungle, birds flew away. Trees shook. Reed looked up. A strange light pierced the clouds. Lexi ran over. "Something's coming." Reed nodded. "They're done playing. Final phase. Unity." Reed gathered everyone. "Listen, we've made them bleed. Now they'll try to erase the jungle, maybe the whole test site. So what do?" Someone asked. Reed looked each survivor in the eyes. "We stop running. We stand here. We fight not just for us, but for every human they think is weak." He raised a broken drone blade high. "They thought we were prey, but we are predators now." The camp roared. Lexi whispered. "Operation Chaos worked." Reed nodded. "Now comes the real storm." The sky cracked open like glass. A huge black ship appeared above the jungle, blocking the sun. It floated, slowly, silently, like a dark god watching from above. Reed stood at the edge of the cliff, his eyes cold and steady. Lexi came beside him. "What is that?" "A purge ship," Reed answered. "When experiments go wrong, they burn the evidence." Tina ran up behind them. "Then we're the evidence?" Reed nodded. "Not if we show them the truth." Alien control room inside. The station orbiting above. Dr. Zell stared at the screen. He looked tired now, not angry, not surprised. Just interested. All Reapers disabled. Most drones lost. Human traps successful. Mental resistance extreme. The general barked. "And now we finish it. Burn the forest. Destroy the humans." Zell raised one finger. "Wait, let's see what the Deathworlder does next." Back in the jungle, Reed gathered every survivor. Men, women, even children. Tired, wounded, but burning with purpose. He stood on a rock above them all, holding a broken alien rifle in one hand and a sharp spear in the other. "They thought we were weak. They brought monsters, machines, fire from the sky." He looked toward the floating ship. "But they forgot one thing." "What?" someone shouted. Reed's voice rose. "We're from a death world. We survive everything. We adapt. We fight. We never quit. This ends today." The crowd roared. Final plan. Storm the signal. Tower Reed's final plan was crazy, but it was the only way. At the center of the jungle there was a tall metal tower, the alien control relay. All signals from the ship above passed through it. "We destroy the tower, we blind the ship," Reed explained. "If they can't see us, they can't fire." Tina looked at the map. "It's surrounded by Reaper shells, still active." Lexi grinned. "Then we make them chase us one last time." The final charge. The survivors moved fast in 3 teams. Team 1, decoy. They lit fires, played sound traps, and ran through the jungle, drawing Reaper sensors away. Team 2. Sabotage. They carried explosives made from power cores and alien fuel. Team 3. Strike Team, led by Reed. Their job: climb the tower and plant the bomb. The jungle came alive. Drones swarmed from hidden bunkers. Broken Reapers dragged themselves forward on metal arms. But the humans were ready. They fought with rage, fire, and tricks. At the tower, Reed, Lexi, and Tina reached the tower's base. It hummed with energy. Glowing blue wires ran up its spine. Drones flew in fast. Reed stabbed one midair with a spear. Tina planted the first bomb on the main support beam. Suddenly, 3 Reaper shells activated, crawling from underground. Lexi yelled, "They're back!" The machines moved slow, but deadly. Reed pulled out his last EMP arrow, handed it to Lexi. "Aim for the eye." She nodded, pulled back her bow. Thump, direct hit. 1 Reaper dropped. The other 2 charged. Reed and Tina finished planting the explosives. "Time to climb," he shouted. Final climb. The tower was tall, metal rungs slippery with rain. Reed climbed first, then Tina. Halfway up, a blast hit the bottom. A Reaper had fired upward. The tower shook. Lexi, still on the ground, fired arrows to distract it. Reed reached the top. A large control orb blinked red. "Here goes nothing." He slammed a charged power cell into it, causing it to overload. Tina pressed the detonator. Boom! Explosions rocked the base. The whole tower began to fall. Reed and Tina jumped, landing hard in the mud below. Lexi ran to them. "You did it!" "Orbit!" The alien ship alarms blared. "Signal lost, targeting offline, scanners blinded." The general panicked. "We've lost control. Abort the purge." Zell leaned back, smiling. He did it. The Deathworlder did the impossible. The general growled. "Should we retrieve the humans?" Zell shook his head slowly. "No, we let them go." He stared out the window. Today, they proved who they really are. Aftermath. Days later, the black ship left. The sky cleared. The jungle was quiet. Reed sat beside a small fire. Around him were survivors, laughing, resting, building again. Lexi walked up, holding a strange alien tablet. This was in the rubble, it's still working. Reed took it. On the screen, alien writing, and 1 line in English. "Test complete. Subject status unbroken." He smiled. Let that be the report they sent home. Final narration. Optional voiceover text. They brought us here to study us, to laugh at our weakness, but they forgot one thing. Humans don't quit. We rise, we resist, we overcome. That day, a Deathworlder stood against the future's deadliest machines and won. Smoke still hung in the air from the fallen drone. Reed knelt beside the wreck, pulling out wires, panels, and strange metal parts. Tina and Connor stood guard, eyes scanning the trees. "That's the 3rd one this week," Connor said. "They keep coming," Tina added. Reed nodded, focused. "They will keep coming, until we give them a reason to stop." He held up the drone's power core. It glowed bright blue. "With enough of these, we make something big." Connor frowned. "Like what?" Reed's voice was calm but firm. "Like a message they'll never forget." Elsewhere, in the forest, more humans were still alive, hiding, running, surviving. Reed knew they were out there. He needed them. He needed an army. "Tina, Connor, we're going out. We find others, we bring them in." Tina looked surprised. "Why now?" Reed stared into the jungle. "Because I'm done playing defense. Now it's war." Meanwhile, in the alien control room, Dr. Zell paced the floor slowly. His face was tense. "The human destroyed another drone," said one technician. "They're building traps, tools." "Strategy," another added. An alien general stepped forward. "This is not a test anymore, this is rebellion." Zell nodded. "Yes, and I want to see how far they go." The general hissed. "If he leads them out, If they unite, we could lose control of the experiment. Dr. Zell simply smiled. Good, let them try. Deep in the jungle, later. That day, Reed's group moved fast. They found 2 more survivors, Lexi, a quiet girl with sharp eyes. James, a strong man with burn scars but a brave heart. They were weak, starving, but alive. Reed gave them food, water, and a plan. This isn't about survival anymore, he said. This is a fight. They brought us here to test us, but they made one mistake. Lexi looked confused. What mistake? Reed stood tall. They forgot what happens when humans fight together. That night, back at camp. The camp was bigger now. More people, more weapons, more traps. Reed stood in the center, showing the group a map he had made using carved stone and sticks. This, he pointed, is where the drones launch from. You found their base? James asked. Reed nodded. I followed the wreckage, found the signal source. It's heavily guarded, but not impossible. Tina looked nervous. We're going to attack the alien base? Yes, Reed said. Not because we can win with weapons, but because we win with fear. They think we're simple, weak, predictable. He looked around the circle. Let's show them what fear really looks like. The next morning, attack begins. Fog covered the ground. Reed's group moved like ghosts through the jungle. Lexi climbed trees, scouting. James and Connor carried sharpened spears and rocks tipped with drone metal. Tina carried the EMP traps in a small bag made from vines. They reached the clearing. Ahead was the alien drone station, metallic, floating, protected by energy fields and 2 patrolling sentry drones. Reed raised his hand. Positions. Everyone split. Lexi threw a stone. Clink. The sound drew a drone's attention. As the drone turned, it passed over a trap. Zap, EMP, fired. Drone crashed. Another drone spun toward the sound. James tackled it from the side, slamming. A sharpened spear through its eye port. Sparks flew. The group rushed forward. Tina planted an EMP bomb on the station's energy field. It blew open a hole. Reed charged in. Inside, blinking lights and glowing buttons covered every wall. A control panel sat at the center, alien language scrolling across it. Connor shouted, "Can you read this?" Reed grinned. No, but I know what off looks like. He stabbed the drone power core into the main panel. Electric shock surged. Lights blinked. Sparks flew. The whole station shut down. Up in the control room, the giant screen went dark. Doctor? Zell's eyes widened. They took out the drone hub, a technician yelled. We've lost visual feeds, lost control. The alien general growled. You see now? He's not just adapting, he's leading a resistance. Zell slammed his fist on the console. Send the Reapers. Gasps filled the room. The Reapers? But they're too... Zell cut them off. If humans want war, give them one. Back at the human camp. That evening, the group returned victorious. People smiled. They laughed. Reed didn't. He stood at the edge of the trees, staring into the dark jungle. Tina came to his side. You did it. We finally hit them back. Reed's voice was cold. This was just the beginning. Now they'll come hard. Then what do we do? Reed's eyes burned like fire. We fight harder. The forest was too quiet again. Not the quiet of nature. The quiet before something terrible. Reed stood on a cliff edge with Lexi, scanning the jungle below. Smoke still rose from the wreckage of the drone station they had destroyed the day before. Lexi spoke first. We hit them hard, didn't we? Reed didn't smile. Yes, but now they'll hit harder. Suddenly the ground trembled. Reed dropped to one knee. Feel that? Lexi nodded. That's not an animal. Then, a deep hum filled the air, like thunder. But not from the sky, from the trees. A black shadow moved through the jungle, tall, metallic, walking on 2 legs. Its head was long and sharp like a blade. Its arms ended in spinning weapons. Red lights blinked all over its armored body. The Reapers had arrived. Above, alien control room, Dr. Zell stood tall behind the glass, watching the screen with cold interest. Reapers activated. Begin jungle sweep. One technician asked, "Won't they kill the humans too quickly?" Zell's eyes narrowed. "No, Reapers don't kill fast. They hunt, they corner, they crush hope." Back on the ground, Reed rushed into camp. "Everyone move, scatter. Go loud, go fast." James asked, "What is it now?" "They've sent machines, not drones, not scouts. Killers." The group grabbed weapons. Tina slung her EMP bombs across her chest. Lexi grabbed her bowmade. From alien cable and bone, Reed looked at them. "Split into pairs. We slow them down. We learn what they can do." Connor swallowed hard. "And if we can't stop them, then we die learning something they didn't expect." Deep in the jungle, First Contact Lexi and Connor crouched behind a fallen tree. The sound of metal crushing wood came closer. Closer. A Reaper stepped into view. 7 feet tall. Walking like a human, moving like a predator. Its head turned slowly. "Listening," Connor whispered. "If it sees us..." Too late. The Reaper snapped its head around and fired a beam. The tree exploded in flames. They rolled away, Lexi firing an arrow. It bounced off the armor. Connor threw a spear. Nothing. Lexi pulled her EMP device and hurled it, but the Reaper jumped back fast, dodging. "It learns," she gasped. "It adapts," Connor shouted. They ran. Meanwhile, other side of the forest, James and Tina ran through swampy mud. A Reaper followed, tearing through trees like paper. James stopped and turned. "I'll slow it down, you go," Tina yelled. "No, you'll die." But James gritted his teeth and waited, holding 2 sharpened sticks like swords. The Reaper came. Fast, James leapt, stabbed both sticks into its joints. Sparks flew. The Reaper grabbed him, lifted him. Tina screamed. The Reaper scanned James and threw him into a rock wall. Tina launched her EMP bomb. Boom! It hit the Reaper square in the chest. It dropped to one knee, but it wasn't down. "They're stronger than drones," Tina whispered. "A lot stronger." Reed's position. Near River, Reed stood in shallow water. One Reaper came toward him slowly. Too slowly. Reed didn't run. He waited. When the Reaper stepped forward, its foot sank into the riverbank. Reed pulled a vine. A massive trap snapped. 2 trees crashed together, slamming the Reaper between them. Crack. Boom. Smash. Reed ran in, jumped on its back and shoved a power cell into its neck. It exploded in sparks. The Reaper twitched, then stopped moving. "Not so perfect now," Reed said. But in the distance, more red lights were moving. "Alien control room, 3 Reapers damaged," a technician reported. Dr. Zell didn't look surprised, but none are destroyed. And now, the humans are afraid again. The general asked, "Do we deploy more?" Zell smiled slowly. "No. Let them run. Let them taste defeat." He stared at the screen. "A Deathworlder fights best when angry. I want to see what rage creates." Nightfall. Human camp. They gathered in silence. James had broken ribs. Lexi had a burn on her arm. Connor had cuts on his face. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, Reed stood. "These Reapers aren't just hunters. They're soldiers. They learn. They move like us. They think like machine, but act like predators." Tina looked around. "Then how do we beat something that learns faster than us?" Reed picked up a drone power cell. "We don't beat them with strength or speed." He threw it down on the map. "We beat them with chaos." Later that night, Reed worked on something, alone. A new weapon. He used drone metal, EMP cores, and liquid from glowing alien fruit. When Tina asked what he was building, he simply said, "Something they won't expect."